Good morning, everyone. Little catch up on Q. Happy to say that she's really been coming together this year after all of our problems. Many of you may remember that she tested borderline positive for EPM. She had food allergy problems that went on for a very long time and just really had a very hard time connecting from back to front. Keeping her energy up was always a problem. But now we see that completely turning around. She's finally beginning to develop top line the way we'd like to see. How nicely she's stepping forward from behind in rhythm. She was a horse that just drug her back end along with her and didn't seem to be able to make a connection between the front and back end. We're happy to say we're beginning to see all those problems disappear. She was also a horse that had been overflexed at the third vertebra in the neck before we got her, unfortunately. And that is always a problem and was particularly a problem with this one. Though most of her problems came from the energy, just never getting enough impulsion, real energy to move through the horse to really be able to get movement. But we finally see that happening. Look how lovely she's coming up and lighting up her top line. The back end keeps stepping forward and up in a good rhythm. We're very happy with this working walk. So you're going into a shoulder in here and able to bend. A little hesitation in the rhythm, but nothing terrible. Still able to keep stepping forward and up. Really nice working walk right there. That's what we're looking for. Now notice that she's not overflexing in that neck. You'll see how Karen is very carefully keeping her up there. But she's finally developing enough top line to be able to stay up and hold herself up. Because of various problems, this horse always kind of looked like a doughboy. She was always very bloated and just never wanted to move. Once again, all of those difficulties are disappearing. How nicely she comes in here and does a turn on the haunches. Notice how she keeps the rhythm of the step behind. And she's just beginning to learn how to do this, but she keeps stepping behind. Notice that. That's what we're looking for. So that was really quite a good turn on the haunches. So of course Karen gives her a stretch after that. She's only done that a few times. Trot work, notice in the stretch how she keeps a nice round action of her hocks and keeps stepping forward. So again, if any of you remember what she looked like, she always looked like a very long train and couldn't really connect from the back to the front. So her base of support is now finally beginning to look much closer together. Really good working trot here, very even. Very nice leg yields, stepping cleanly over. And notice how Karen brings her up with her hands as she wanted to try to roll over a little bit, which has always been the problem with her, but how nicely she's staying up there. You know, when horses are strong enough to stay up, they will. And of course, horses that have been overflexed in the neck are always difficult because they always want, as soon as you want to take contact, they want to just give in the neck rather than taking correct contact. So we were so happy after 5 years to see this beginning to disappear with this horse. She's definitely been a labor of love, but all the hard work is beginning to pay off. As you can see, Karen just asking for a little bit of lengthening of stride there in the stretch. But once again, notice how the back end keeps coming forward. We keep seeing that nice round action of the hocks, whether she's up or down. Really nicely going into a stretch without much change of balance. And once again, really nice working trot. Look how her front end lifted right there. That's what we're looking for in keeping that nose out ahead of the vertical. Very difficult with her, but finally coming and becoming possible. Her canter also is developing beautifully, and we're beginning flying changes with her. That's how nicely she stays up, but she starts to curl over. So that's why you see Karen bring her hands up to keep her from dropping her pole. And she lets it back down. There's where we want her. Good working canter there. Karen's working counter canter here with her. As her balance is able to stay up. That's how she wants to curl down a little bit during that. Karen brings her back up again. She's going to take the next diagonal and do a flying change. So we couldn't be happier with the way we are finally seeing this horse develop. Watch in the corner how she stretches up and changes right through. A little bit late behind, but for her, we're very happy with that and comes back to a nice balanced canter. So we're very happy with what we're starting to see with this horse. As my father used to say, it's starting to look like a horse. Really very nice there in the canter, up and balanced. Look how she's lifting her forehand. That's been a long time coming, but you know, if they're gonna make it, this is the way they're gonna do it when you have difficult horses. Thanks for joining us today. This is Will Faber from Art to Ride with Karen and Q.